Yamate will cop a bit more harass out from DJ, but will be fine to just leave the building. Of course, AU will make his way up top to make sure Raven has a good landing stage on that TB. So just your standard dual lanes being run here from both sides. Well, it looks like it probably will be a relatively slow start for the first 5 to 10 minutes, as most of these heroes on the map do need levels.
Yeah, it's going to be a while. I mean, you can see, of course, Raven on the TV commits the first meta to get some last hits, get some farm on. Barry just slowing that down a bit. Once this mech is down, if you get level 2s at a good point for the NP and Tiny, you're going to have to be careful. You see an early pause. Look at Raven's HP. It's just down to half.
Yeah, 318 HP left on Raven. Great hero, John. So this Terrorblade. FNATIC, they do have a DC on Raven, so we'll just have to wait that one out. And of course, you did mention it was lunchtime for SK right now, John. So FNATIC can quickly get a bite to eat. No, never mind. Raven does not want anyone eating any food. Back to playing.
Yeah, no messing around. He's gonna have to rely on the regen AU brings out here. They do have that early headdress, as you tell on the IOs, so this should be too big of an issue. But again, those early level 2 timings to level 3 timings for this duo from new esports is the key. Once you get some ways of bursting down with Barry, got to be really cautious on the TB. You don't have the greatest HP pool. Of course, down mid, you've got that interesting matchup. It's the Earth Spirit up against the Ember. It does look like a bit of a better start for Moon. Both heroes at level 2, 6-1 on last hits. Pre-0 for DBZ. So not the smoothest starts in terms of farm. See if you can make that work with, you know, some of the skill usages. Farm up for the most. Supports are going to be the key for that. And we already talked about the top supports down bot. You've got Mozen pressuring Ice once more. So our Venomancer with a Clockwork with DJ. And up against the Ancient Apparition and Faces Void. Now, there are ways to make this work. You get the cogs off on particularly the AA. You can melt them with the damage you've got here. It's just closing that gap is very difficult.
I've got to say, I love the way Mozen plays the lane for Yamate, right? Like, he really never allows Ice to get close, to get any decent harassment in. And it's very important when you're going up against the Venomancer on any laning stages. The support needs to be aggressive before the Veno can be. And Mozen has been doing a very, very good job of it. Now Gale to fly out, but the Cold Feet is going to be out onto Ice, and he just can't commit to trying to chase down Yamate.
Yeah, and because of that, Yamate is not forced to pop the Time Walk. We talked about the Veno being good in that sense, because the DOT makes it tricky to commit. Yamate's not having an issue, and they get to jump onto DJ immediately. Don't get any lucky dash, but it's been a struggle splitting the EXP. Like the Clockwork and Veno, they need a lot of EXP, both of these heroes, to get started, and they're just sharing a lane. They're just soaking off of each other. Neither is going to snowball hard.
I mean, you've got the choice of going mid here for DJ, just trying to roam around and trying to take down the Earth Spirit mid with Moon, but the problem is with the Clockwork is you can't really hold DDZ down because he's going to be able to kick you away and just roll away back towards his tier 1 tower. So he's really got no options but to stay in that bottom lane right now, which is like you just mentioned, a bit detrimental because Ice needs the levels. So he's trying to stay out of XP range now, DJ, but it's not really helping him. Ice is just still copping way too much harassment out from Mozen.
Courier has been killed.
Yeah, it's a difficult time. This is when FNATIC's draft is sort of at its weakest. Laning phase just isn't that amazing, and you can see Yamate's not scared to commit the early time walks, get some harassment off, looking for the lucky bashes. It doesn't fly out, but that spacing right now down bot isn't the best for FNATIC. The great thing is Yamate's farm is not so good. It's at 13-2 behind Raven up top, and Ice is finding more creeps. You do have that to play with. Whether or not that stays, though, as this lane progresses is a different story.
Speaking of behind, pretty much all of new esports are behind in this laning phase in terms of CS, John. DDZ falling 10 CS behind Moon right now on the Ember. We'll get lucky with the Power Rune up top, and they are just going to give that away to Barry. Even at that top lane, you're not really having the greatest time right now for Candyloon, who is behind Raven, just by one last hit. And sadly for new esports, that's their best lane right now, is this Nature's Prophet lane. Barry going to come in with an avalanche toss. AU going to be the first blood. Candyloon able to take it on the Prophet. And I was just saying he was slightly behind Raven, but with that added gold, I highly doubt he is any longer.
And that's what you want to see. It's that level timing from New Esports. They had level 2 in Barry there. He hits level 3 now. They've got burst damage. That is not something IO and the Terrorblade deal with well. That early high burst you can expect from this duo.
Mosen, bot lane, does get caught out there by DJ, and Ice did have the follow-up damage. So, nice little even trade on those position 5s. Of course, New Esports able to at least get the first blood gold for themselves.
Dire's middle tower.
And they'll go back for the 5-minute bounty runes, which do end up being a 2-for-2 trade. There is one still left on the Radiant side of things. Top lane, they could go for a bit of a play here, New Esports, but DDZ not really willing to leave the lane yet. He is only level 5. Looks like he's just going to return mid and try to get his own level 6 now up against Moon, who did just hit level 6 on the Ember.
Yeah, they've got some beautiful vision here as well from FNATIC's end to watch rotations. Barry does intercept AU. Have any of that movement out to camp the 6-minute runes, which does make it difficult for both sides. Those runes are very important for the Ember and the Earth Spirit.
Mosen again, bot lane, going to end up dying on the AA, and it looks like Ice and DJ now able to comfortably pick off this Ancient Apparition with the clockwork, though top lane, Barry able to kill off Raven. DDZ joining in on the top lane, doesn't even bother committing the Magnetize. He didn't need it.
That's a bigger kill going the way of New Esports. Like, they managed to trade away a support for a core. A bit surprised to see Yamate ditch the Venu lane early. I guess he just realized it would be a hard lane to keep up. More action.
He tried to get the tether off to the creep wave, but the avalanche was going from Barry, so he just cancelled the tether immediately.
Top tower is under attack.
I guess he had no other option, but it's going to be a bit hard here for AU on that IO, and well, with that now, of course, they're going to commit towards that tier 1 top tower. And with Candaloon there, with the Nature's Treants, it's not going to be a very hard one to take.
No, it's going to be a relatively quick one. You can see FNATIC clump up bot, trying to get that same action done with Ice. To counter push, they're going to try to trade. You do see New Esports take that first. And you're not going to have that situation where FNATIC TPs in for defense. There's no defense to be had. Going to go for the straight trade. They're still waiting as well. Hanging around, Moon's down here for the party. It's only Mozen they can really catch out here.
This is a very dangerous predicament here for New Esports. They are TPing more heroes in. They want to try and take this team fight. DDZ now going to show himself TPing. They'll go after Moon. They have the silence. They do catch out Moon, but he has the tether there from AU. Does get the sleight of fist off and just walks away. Now DJ with the battery assault onto Mosen. Barry also burning to the flame guard of Moon. And perhaps New Esports not expecting pretty much the whole side of FNATIC to be down at that bot lane. They do get punished for this rotation.
That's really good punishment from FNATIC. They take the tower on top of it, find 2 supports for their trouble. That is one way to kind of bounce back here. Moon definitely needing those kills, and that does help them have a little bit more. Did need to counteract that slower start. You can see Ice in a very different game, although DDZ.
Yeah, Magnetize is going to be committed. They'll go for the TP play. DDZ will not have the roll-up. It is still only a level 1 roll, so you can opt to just TP out as soon as he commits it. And he will not be up in time to get a secondary one off to cancel the TP.
It's a bit of a shame, but that's one of the issues here for New Esports draft as well. Their control is a bit mixed. They have been sitting on certain spells for a while, although Moon finds Mosen.
He does. Mosen going to go down very easily, and Moon is really starting to snowball out of control here on this Ember Spirit. Looking to start setting up into that mid lane a little bit, but Barry is going to be there to defend. And this is problematic. If you're New Esports now, you do not want to allow Moon to have a good game on this Ember Spirit.
No, definitely not. He's off a fantastic start. DDZ for his part on the Earth Spirit. You need to snowball hard in that hero. And he's not quite up there. He's definitely lagging in terms of impact as well. The rotations haven't really paid off. He needs that earn into Spirit Vessel ASAP. Once you have that, you kind of correct some issues here. You also need your supports at 6, particularly Mosen. You need the Ice Blast in this game. That's the entire point of this AA, so they need to find some way to get the Ancient Apparition up to par. One good thing here for New Esports is that Yamate has been relatively uncontested. His farm is kind of lacking for that, but he hasn't really been scouted out. They've been sitting on that chrono for a while, though. You have to wonder, when do you want to commit that big teamfight spell?
DDZ, bot lane, is currently being watched by DJ. DJ was pinging out, asking for a rotation. Looks like Moon is going to oblige. They might just get started over this 10-minute bounty rune.
Radiant
In fact, the rest of FNATIC are slowly moving their way in. Raven, he has the meta up. That's perfect timing for him to find, and Moon does start off with the chains onto Barry, but they want DDZ. Remnants forward, but the roll was already there from DDZ. Still Moon, gonna try for the chase. Avalanche gonna slow things down, and FNATIC, they will not be able to keep up, so they'll go back for the bounty runes. The New Esports gonna be thanking their lucky stars they did not lose that mid ES again.
Yeah, I mean, neither side dies out. I think you're still going to be happy if you're FNATIC. You're forcing these movements out. New Esports aren't really farming as efficiently. They've caught up a bit on Candy. A bit better, although no, they're not taking control of their jungle. They're not finding an injection spot.
Easy, good roll in. Ice Blast going to connect on both of them, and Ice. He'll melt, and so will AU. And that's kind of the thing we talked about in the drafting phase. You first pick IO, you're going to get Ancient Apparition like that. Mosin with the perfect positioning with that Ice Blast.
Yeah, and the perfect timing in that level as well. We're talking about them needing the 6 on the AA. Comes out, it plays in a big way, and they just keep finding these little wins. It's even on the map, 5-5, less than 1k lead for FNATIC. But you've got this Mask of Madness now in Yamate. You've given face for the Void to find that farming tool.
Gets a hook on. Didn't see Candaloon, so he'll just settle for Mosin. Still Ice Blast gonna connect. Mosin still alive. In fact, Moon gonna dive in after Candaloon, but they can't secure one kill here. Mosin now gonna get tethered on by AU, but a silence is out, and Yamate looking for a chrono, and he does get it. Onto 2 heroes. Mosin is already down, but it may not matter. AU getting low does also ignite at DDZ, and Moon, he's in massive trouble. He'll get a remnant out. He'll be out of there, but Raven has been left behind. He gets the Sunder, but it may not matter. Yamate is dealing way too much damage, and DDZ going back after Moon, but he kicks him away. That's not what he wanted. But Moon is still being chased. Ice. All's gonna die to Yamate. Meanwhile, Barry still chasing the Ember Spirit. Won't be able to get him. But it's a great team fight out for New Esports.
Radiant's middle tower is
Oh
under
man,
attack.
they just play it perfectly. Like, it looked bad at the start, they got the jump in. But New Esports, the first chrono from Yamate, that was 12 minutes in. First chrono pays off in a massive way to build up for themselves, and what looked like a slower start, it's starting to ramp up, Mike. 9-6 now, 1k lead for New Esports. You have Candaloon way above everyone else in terms of farm. He's got an Orchid up. He's got ways of controlling these heroes from FNATIC, and they've got to be careful here.
Shot going to be out onto Mosin, but he has help around. DDZ going to get the Boulder Smash and Silence, but they aren't going to commit to this team fight. That'll mean the mid-tier 1 tower will go down to Raven. So even with that bad team fight that just occurred for FNATIC, with the meta up, they feel confident to secure that mid-tier 1, and now with the rest of the meta, they want to try and go for a kill attempt. The only person they are seeing is Barry on the Tiny, and he is already within safety of his tier 2 tower, so it looks like they will just commit to farming up.
And that's one of the downsides here for New Esports Draft. They play around chrono on their end. If you see Moon making a move here, but Candy's around.
Be careful, Raven. As AU, they're going to roll in. Ice Blast to fly through. Raven, he's falling low, and the Ice Blast will connect onto both of them. AU also going to go down. As I said, John, you can't underestimate the magic damage that New Esports has right now. It's a power spike for them at the moment.
Oh, you definitely can't. They've got this blinking Tiny now. They lose 3 heroes in 2 different lanes. Like, Moon was the aggressor up top. He was the one jumping Yamate. He forgot that the NP was around and that the Orchid was up. You just have nothing to stop that. No Yules on Moon. Means he has to be super careful about the targets he jumps. And New Esports, 2k up. They're gonna have chrono in 10 seconds. They can force a team fight if they wanted to. FNATIC, I mean, you're still finding fantastic farm and Raven. We're 2 in that for it.
Well, staring down Moon, John. He had that chrono in a second. going to go for anything. He'll go back to farming. Though, John, I would like to point out, surprisingly enough, EDZ does opt for the plus 50 damage at level 10, rather than the rolling boulder distance, which is usually what you would pick up. As the core Earth Spirit, it makes sense to go for the plus 50, especially considering he did go for the Treads build, have that added attack speed and stats. But I wonder what he builds after the Spirit Vessel to really go with that added damage. Because generally speaking, you might want to go into a Veil straight after, considering you're up against Terrorblade. But it doesn't seem like he's going to go for the Veil build.
It's pretty open in how you itemize around this. I think it really depends on how the game develops. I think they're gonna hold out for a bit more. Although Ice TP'd in.
Yeah, he TP'd in and got an avalanche straight away. DDZ did miss the roll and a relocate out.
Dire's middle
Well, at least they wasted the relocate. So you got something out of that if you knew esports, and now with that gone, you might just commit to this tier 1 mid tower.
Should be an easy committal. They've still got the Chrono as mentioned. They're looking for an opportunity to use that. Yamate does spot Moon, but doesn't opt for that play. A bit slippery.
DDZ has an arcane rune, John. It's every Earth Spirit's dream to have this rune up. That roll is now on a 2.8 second cooldown, which is, in my opinion, very balanced, by the way.
Yeah,
no bias here from
absolutely is. Absolutely balanced. Of course, you've got the foresight from FNATIC to just pull back. They're just playing around, farming with Raven. They're not really forcing anything aggressive. That's mainly been down to Ice and Moon, which they've done a pretty decent job. Still waiting for... looks to be a 4-staff on Ice. Once that's up, they've got a few more options to jump in, a few more options to bail themselves out as well. For their part, seem pretty content and kind of just split farming as well. They've got the Spirit Vessel up though on DDZ, perhaps looking to make use of that. They are pinging out the top lane for a bit of a shove-in.
Dire's top tower.
I think he can just afford to. Even with the pipe up now on Candy Loon, he can join them up at top, and he will. The TP going to come in from Moon, but they have the Orchid, and Candy is waiting.
Radiant's
now will show himself, and Moon should be just fine to make an exit here. Unless Barry gets the Blink Avalanche toss off. And he's thinking about it, but Moon is staying well and truly back.
Radiant's bottom
just trying to buy time so his own team can push in the bottom tier 2 tower.
Is under attack.
Ice Blast is going to fly down to the bot lane. Raven is going to fly through him. So it does connect. He does take the damage, but instead of defending that tier 2, they are going after Roshan play now, New Esports.
Radiant's bottom
but it seems though Moon is aware of this and is making his way down with a haste rune. In fact, no, they're defending pot lane. Yamate Chrono, he's committed. They catch out Raven, and with that, they're going to burst him down, go after AU, and that IO's gone. A great bait play out of New Esports.
Oh man, what was that? Like, using the rocket flare against your enemy. They do catch out Mosin again though.
Nice block.
For that.
He is out in time, and Barry can clean up. It's a pulse 3 for a pulse 5 trade, and look at DDZ. Gets a boulder smash off into the silence, into the Spirit Vessel, and DJ has no chance of survival. And it's a 4-for-1 trade and a Roshan on top of it.
I love it. Like New Esports, the movements are perfect. They get spotted by the flare, they go for the TP defense after the flare fades to bait them into thinking they're still in Roche. They come in, and then they walk their way back top to the pit. Like, this is just perfect cyclical play from New Esports. The timing is on point. FNATIC 16-8. It's still looking better than game 1. It's a 3K lead for New Esports. They have got to watch out, because the moment this team gets momentum, they run away with it, New Esports.
They are really, really playing well. You don't see that very often either. The Roshan into a quick defense team fight. But it really was just a really, really nice play here. With that, another 4K net worth lead for FNATIC, looking to just try and defend this mid-tier 1 again. And of course, we saw in game 1, that was really the downfall for FNATIC. Once they lost that mid-tier 1 tower, their whole map was suddenly not really theirs anymore and was owned by New Esports. So we'll see if they can manage to take that one down. I mean, we're almost 19 minutes into the game without it going down. But once it is gone, Raven is going to be missing a lot of farming space.
Yeah, it gets trickier to split that farm with an Ember and the Terrorblade and the Venomancer. I think one of these heroes have to give. We saw what happens when the Venomancer falls behind. You don't want to see what happens when the TV and Ember.
Dire's structures are
It's gonna be tricky.
fortified.
You see, new esports, they're committing up top again. They forced the Fortify out. FNATIC just trying to take over that bot jungle. They might be able to catch out Barry for their troubles, but they're gonna lose a tier 2 if they commit that hard.
Dire's
There's that tier 2 top
tower
gone.
has fallen.
Barry gonna chill out and wait for someone to dive in after this tier 2 bot tower. They do have Chrono up in 10 seconds, so this is actually perfectly timed by new esports if that push attempt does come out. With an Aegis, of course, on Yamate, so he's not worried about his own life. They are gonna slowly try here. Raven does show himself for a second.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
In fact, never mind, Gale is there out onto Barry. They aren't going to commit all the way, though. Ice just going to back off, back
Radiant's
towards his
bottom
team.
tower is under attack.
And new esports seem like they're not going to go for this defense attempt, but rather just let FNATIC take it.
Radiant's bottom tower
Yeah,
has
in the
fallen.
end, I suppose you could consider that a tier 2 for tier 2 trade. Does work out rather evenly. You do see some items flying out though. Candloon does have his Maelstrom, so that's additional magic damage flying out. Even more split push potential from our
Dire's
NP.
middle tower is under
Be
attack.
careful as they do finally make moves on mid, and FNATIC, they can't allow this one to fall. They send Ice to stave that off.
It's not just the Maelstrom, by the way, John. Yamate has the MKB coming out. With the Mask of Madness, that is going to be a lot of damage and a lot of attack
boy.
speed. And again, he does have the Aegis Chrono. So, new esports are definitely looking for a big team fight. I don't think FNATIC have really what it takes right now to try and fight it out. Unless they can keep Raven safe. I suppose Moon does have a double damage bottled up, so you do have a lot of added damage on this Ember. They might try for the defense, but they've got to be very, very wary about those new items. See what happens here is we do unpause. New esports are actually the ones to retreat.
Yeah, I can't fault them for that. They're just playing it safe. They know the caliber of caliber of team that FNATIC is. There's a BKB now on Raven as well. So there's some moments here for FNATIC to reveal some of these pickups against it, but there's a smoke now from new esports.
Question is who they're going to find. Moon, he'd be a great target, and can they get the Chrono? He does go for the slide. Silence will not hit in time. Moon will just make his way out of there. Barry, still in that smoke. We'll try to use Yamate as bait for a nice avalanche toss start. AU going to be very, very cautious about getting picked off here on the IO as they do need him alive, and FNATIC do commit TPs, but Yamate again has that Chrono. There's the avalanche onto Ice. No Chrono yet, he'll hold out. The relocate already out from AU again. Now the hook shot in from DJ. Moon also there, but the Chrono not going to catch the Ember. They'll have to settle for the clockwork. Ice Blast not going to connect either, but they have made the jump back onto Ice. There's two gone for FNATIC. Now Raven won't be able to turn around and fight. He has to back off. They do actually eventually end up killing off Barry thanks to the DPS of the Venomancer, but it is still a 2-for-1.
Yeah, I'd say FNATIC should be happy with that, although Yamate?
He's getting chained up, dude. Gotta be careful. The bashes. Oh my goodness. Oh, you gotta be a bit wary, even without the Chrono. He still has the Aegis.
Oh man. Yeah, that's a brave movement out, but still, FNATIC, I don't think they're too upset about that. Managed to force the Chrono out without losing their big heroes. You'll take that. Still want to find a better trade, but they're in a spot where they don't have to worry about Chrono for at least 2 minutes.
Oh, Raven.
Oh,
He's alone. Yamate could not get a lucky bash off, but look at the TPs coming in now. They are a bit too late. Looks like new esports, they know exactly where they are, so they'll go for a smoke.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Again, using Yamate as that frontliner, that kind of bait on the Void. He's running very deep into that tier 1, but Avalanche toss Barry has found out Raven with the Ice Pass to fly in. He did get the Sunder off in time, but it may not matter. Or perhaps it will. He did pop his BKB as well. Meanwhile, Yamate kills off AU in the backlines. DJ getting rolled back on. Yamate just chasing down this Clockwork, and it looks like DJ is certainly netting back Raven. Still being chased down here by DDZ. There'll be a buyback from DJ, but it will not matter. Raven already dead. And they're going for even more now. Ice showing his face will also die. It's just not great news for FNATIC.
Oh man, it's bad news all the way down. That was the BKB usage of Raven, his first charge not working out the way they want. This is all without Chrono. And Yamate is just nearly unstoppable now. He has no defensive items, Mike.
Oh, AU, he just bought back. He just bought back on the IO. Can he tether out in time? He can, but Yamate does have the time walk in a second. He will commit it. He will get the die back. And, well, mid lane, they're still going. DDZ getting attacked by Moon, but really taking no damage.
It's gonna be difficult for FNATIC. Like, the tools they just picked up aren't paying off. I love the build-up here from DDZ. We were talking about what he might want to go for. He's got his Shiva's card flying in. So all that minus HP regen they've been playing around with, it's stacking up. The IO effect, even with Tether, if these items come into play, it's nothing. They don't have sustain on FNATIC's end, and that just means the IO is kind of a dead pickup.
It is a very, very rough time, and there's that Shiva's Guard you talked about on DDZ. Gonna make things a lot harder now.
Oh no.
Radiant's middle tower is
I foresaw your death. Yeah, that's a yikes. Yamate commits the Chrono for an easy mid-ember kill, and it's well worth it for his cause. And that's gonna actually allow him to pretty much be at the stage where he can buy out the BKB, and he does.
And the opportunities you had to catch Yamate now shrink. Oh my god.
Yeah, Ice getting caught out now by Candaloon and DDZ. They're just not safe, John. It literally happens straight after that mid-tier 1 goes down. They just start losing the whole map to this new esports side.
It's not holding up. Like, that timing's perfect. Not finding the openings. You look at how big Candaloon is. I didn't even realize he's got his Mjolnir up on top of everything else, and a BKB now as well.
DDZ, oh, nice avalanche toss in from Barry. Raven being slowed up. DDZ gets the silence, but won't continue as the Glimmer Cape was there. That'll be your tier 2 mid tower going down. No, they'll commit the glyph. Yamate could afford to fight. He does have a 10-second BKB charge. He just doesn't have Chrono. But it looks like he wants to save that 10-second charge for the time where he does have Chrono, and that's fair enough. Does break the smoke of DJ as well. Yamate. Oops. You see how confident he is right now, John. He just time walks straight into him. He does not feel afraid that they have the burst damage to take him out.
You can just see how defensive Moon has to play. He remnants out, he has to Yules off the time dilation. And it's not what you want to be doing. So far behind, playing so far behind, not setting the tempo as well. You can see it's just forcing FNATIC to for a game, and there's still opportunities there for Raven to outfarm. Like, we've seen Terrorblades play from behind really well if they find those right opportunities, and they can make that happen. And well, you look at that. There's a repair kit here for FNATIC. I wonder why. I wonder why, Mike.
Well, they need it, John. They're gonna need it. Looks like, just based off how this game is going right now. New esports are waiting for the next Roshan, but that is going to be a bit of time still. Bot lane, there is a bit of a team fight breaking out. DDZ able to kill off DJ, and Yamate is still chasing down Ice. Trying to time walk. There's the TP in from Candaloon, and now the roll in from DDZ, and Ice once again just can't survive on that Venomancer. Another 2 kills for New esports.
FNATIC, they're just not getting the effect they want with the Venom, right? Like, we talk about the Venom being so potent, it's not showing up the past 2 games. There's only so much Ice can do with it. And it's not trying to go true back.
Just use the Mask of Madness, Yamate.
No. Doesn't want to press the buttons, Mike. It doesn't need to, see? Takes out that mid tier 2. And FNATIC, and they're just trying to farm across the map. They're waiting for Raven to get scary. I don't know if that's enough. Like, again, they can play from behind with the Terrorblade, but it's not a good proposition. That's not exactly what you picked the Terrorblade for. You want to be dominant, so there's some timing issues here for FNATIC. They're gonna have to sort it out. As New Esports, Roshan's up. They can easily go for that next Rosh, perfectly timed.
They will. Yamate just pops the MOM and gets himself started. Of course, FNATIC should be well aware that they might be going for this, but they're trying to go mid, or rather bot instead. A nice hook shot out. Candy does get hooked up. He can't TP out here with that BKB, and he is going to accept the fact that he is just dead. And that is a huge kill out for FNATIC.
Oh, that's Candy's first death of the game. So a great pickoff. It does come at the cost of Roche. This is going to be flying really fast for New Esports. Aegis and Cheese on the deck. There's a rocket flare at the spot. It's a bit too late. You know, the objective's gone, so they trade a kill for that. I think New Esports are still in a good spot. Up.
Can't blame him. Aegis Chrono is up, and that 10-second BKB charge is still there for Yamate. Ice does not want him to show himself down bot at the moment. He's just throwing Venom wards out.
Oh,
Moon. Oh no, Moon!
No.
Chrono is actually gonna connect and he's gone. He was just stuck in the air. I was wondering where he was.
Oh no. He remnanted right in front of Barry. Just really unfortunate. They find the kill they'd want to get with the Chrono anyway. And New Esports, I mean, look at this. They just wait for the runes. This is what I love. They play around these map timers so well. They never give up in bounty runes. They always time Roche perfectly. It is just really surgical from New Esports.
It is. That net worth just continuing to climb. Of course, did go down a little bit when they did kill off that Nature's Prophet, but it just went back up after that Moon death. DOTA Plus right now, John, already sitting at 95% win chance for New Esports.
Radiant's
and I would
killed.
probably agree with that, if I'm completely honest, especially considering Yamate is about to have a full eye of Skadi up on that Void. That's going to be very problematic when you count the Vessel and the Shiver's Guard on DDZ. It's just, Sunder's going to do nothing. Neither is the IO is not going to be able to heal at all. This is all along with an Ancient Apparition with Ice Blast.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
It's too much. It's too much to play up against New Esports. It might be a bit overkill, but it's paying off. So if it works, you can't really slam it, and you can see New Esports smoke up again. They're always the aggressors. FNATIC, how many times have we seen them smoke? Not as much.
Nice. You know he's around there somewhere, now showing himself mid lane. DDZ gonna go for the immediate roll in, does connect with the boulder smash, and now the follow-up roll. Just roll straight back out, and Ice committing the buyback. They want to try and fight this out, but the Ice Blast again gonna connect on through. And now Yamate just comes in, and look at Raven getting bashed up. He'll be relocated out with the BKB. Oh no, they're going to waste the whole BKB duration, and now Yamate will just go after Moon. There's your Sunder out, but Raven is surrounded once again. There's another tether out from AU. Raven still safe, but Yamate, he does not care. He should have Chrono in about 25 seconds, in fact. Not even needing it for this team fight. They'll get the Terrorblade. Now after DJ on the clockwork, they will find a secondary, or rather a fourth pickup in AU. What would it mean without a team fight or a team wipe? They get everything. They get absolutely everything. That was without a Chrono, John.
And
he still has the Aegis.
He's diving in, Yamate. He's going all the way. Yeah, he buys out a Deso in the enemy base, as you would often want to do. That, and FNATIC, 35 to 14, 25k lead, man. I don't know how to bounce back. If there's a way they call it.
Middle tower is under
Well,
attack.
Boy.
What a showing from New Esports. Very impressive here from this Radiant side. And again, John, I said this in game one, that if you asked anybody who the underdogs would be up against FNATIC in this first series of the day, you'd have to say that New Esports were heavy underdogs.
Oh, 100%.